Don't start nothing, there won't be nothing. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. What am I talking about? Human beings have a tendency of taking something very small and just exploding it into this catastrophic event. You know, it doesn't have to be that way. It shouldn't be that way. But you have this natural inclination to want to do these things because this is human nature. But you need to work against that because it's working against you. What am I talking about? You can have like somebody tell you something and then you just take that and you make it 10 times worse than what it need be or what it should be because you're actually making it something that it isn't. You have to catch yourself when you're doing this. Back when I was a kid, they used to refer to people like that as worry wards. You're always worrying, panicking. Then you have other people that are hypochondriacs. They're always panicking over everything, so they've got every sickness in the world. They just do it to themselves. This is an artificially induced psychosomatic issue. It's artificially induced volatility through psychosomatic, trauma. They believe that they have something, so therefore they do. That's why the internet is inherently dangerous. This is the reason why when I was a kid growing up in the 70s, we didn't have these things because there was no such thing as an internet for the public. That was a form of communication between military bases back in the late 60s and earlier than that. But when you're plugged into something that's telling you all these ailments and symptoms and all this stuff, and then you're convinced that you have it because of the placebo effect, you do have it. If you've ever seen the TV show MASH, it's a long time ago, came out in the 70s, early 80s. And I remember clearly there was one episode where the doctors had run out of morphine. And he said, what do we do? He said, let's just give them, sugar tablets. He said, yeah, but they'll know the difference. He says, no, they won't. We'll just tell them that this is 10 times more powerful than the morphine that we carry. And he gave it to all of the patients. He distributed it to all of the soldiers that were injured. And he was like, every patient that he went to, he said, listen, he was like, is this morphine, doc? No. This is something else. This is 10 times more powerful. Be very careful. I can only give you one because it's 10 times more powerful than morphine. And the guy was like, really? Okay. It was through the power of suggestive influence on the doctor's part, convincing the patient that what he was saying was the truth, that made it the truth in the mind of the patient. This is the power of suggestive influence. So therefore, the patient was deceived into believing that what he was saying is the truth. So the patient's mind went into full effect to make that a reality. And what happened? When they took that sugar tablet, they were all not in pain anymore because the mind was convinced that what it was told was the truth. So therefore, it went into action to make that a reality. And that's exactly what happens when you plug into their system. And they tell you all of this garbage about pronouns and transgender and all of these things that you can be a woman or you can be a man or you can be both at the same time, and everything else. Woke, all that stuff. This is all coming from the same hub. Listen, when it comes to your physical gender, you are what you are. You can identify with whatever you want. That is your business and there's nothing wrong with it. I've already done a video on this. Biologically, anatomically, physically, genetically, you are what you are. If you don't believe me, check your pelvic bone. Okay, you can't dance around that truth, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a heterosexual man and you identify as a woman, or if you're a bisexual man, you identify as a woman, whatever it is that you want to identify with, that is your business. That is your own personal truth. That is the reality inside your own journey. And nobody can tell you you're right, wrong, or otherwise because that is what you choose to do. If your reality is unbearable, that forces you to seek this alternate identity, this parallel life. And if that's what you want to go to and escape to, that is your business. Absolutely. But what you don't have the right to do is to tell somebody that you are something that you're not because of other people's perceptions of what reality is and what it isn't. Because reality is a matter of perception. So how you perceive things to be doesn't mean that's how it is for other people. That is why we get diversification of the planet. And that is a beautiful thing that we should celebrate, not kill each other over. I've said this many times before. But as far as this transgender nonsense, it's all garbage. Making these kids think that men can have babies. I see these icons with the men that have the little belly. This was like 3 years ago. They were just pushing it. They're pushing these agendas, putting pornographic and pedophilia books in the schools, and giving little kids condoms. This is what's going on. This is why these parents need to see what's going on in these schools, because the school is an indoctrination camp. It is not an institution of higher learning. Absolutely not. But anyway, getting back to my original subject, once you're convinced of something by an outside source, then you go to work and making that a reality. They know this. That's why whenever you're plugging into that system, the internet, you have to be cautious as to what energies you're finding yourself gravitating towards, because those things can mean the difference between you having a very healthy and productive life or not. And look how many people are messed up in their head these days. Common Core mathematics, political correctness. I mean, I can go on for hours. You know, it's just more convoluted madness to complicate the simplicity of divinity, which is just ease, relax, comfort, no fighting, no arguing, no attempting to take control over things, just allowing things to happen in their own natural process when they're supposed to happen and how, and not fighting it. That's divinity, man. It has nothing to do with books or Bibles or scriptures or ideologies or philosophies or doctrines or gospels or doxologies or edicts or dogmas or laws or any of that garbage. It's all junk. It's all mind control, crowd control. All religions are, no matter which one it is. They're all the same, especially the organized religions. Those are the worst, because those are the ones that have the most money, the most power, the most control, you know, and the most influence over the populations of a large degree, trust me. But anyway, it's just about not plugging into that system and buying everything that they're telling you is the truth. Because whether you realize it or not, the energy that's being streamed through these connections that you're making, it's affecting you on a metaphysical level and a subconscious level that you're not perceiving consciously. That's why people are so messed up in their heads. And I hope that this channel can shed some light on that fact for you and process it and filter it in your own personal way and take from it what you will. And hopefully you can apply it to your life and implement it in your journey in your own personal way. Because I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. Because I am not of any position to be doling out advice to anybody. So I wish all of you the very best. Be cautious where you find your energy going. Because wherever you find your attention, that's where energy is going to flow. And whatever you're connecting to becomes an extension of your energy. And then that, whatever it is going to become a part of you, and you will become a part of it. So just make sure that whatever you're connecting with is of a high vibrational nature, whether it's the internet, a movie, a person, or whatever. Because if not, you're going to be the one that's going to be the victim of that energy. If what you're connecting with is bad stuff.